Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I am sure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Hello and thank you for joining us on the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Benga Oreshegun. Today on the program, PDP governors rule out merger talks, announce national convention dates. Governor Fubara blasts police over Rivers State protest clampdown. Late on the show, Governor Alia distances self from Peter Obi's visit to Benue State, bars politicians from visiting IDP camps in the state without permission. I'll be hanging out with Dr. Oladipo and Asukwo James. Journalist Hangout starts right now. Now let's begin the conversation. The political dynamic that will shape the 2027 elections is gradually taking shape as politicians continue to lobby for alignments and partnerships. The People's Democratic Party PDP Governors Forum has ruled out any involvement in the ongoing merger speculations nationwide, stating that the party will not participate in any coalition or merger talks. At a meeting in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, chaired by Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State, which brought PDP governors together, they reaffirmed hard work for the success of the party with a pledge to make the society better. Okay, Doctor, let's start this way. I mean, why is the People's Democratic Party, PDP, rejecting or ruling out any possible mergers? Why?
Well, the PDP is a major party, no doubt about that. With some good number of governors in power and money available to prosecute elections.
Oh, okay.
They can say that. But we know that within them, if not up to half, won't be PDP by 2027 again.
Do you think the PDP can do it alone?
Whether they can do it alone or not is not even the position of so many people who know what is going on within the political scene. It is the fact that most of them, or half of them, will not be in PDP by 2027. Whether by act or by actual movement, they won't be in that party. Because what will happen at the end of the day is that for those who are seeking re-election, they are going to negotiate.
Negotiate with the incumbent?
Well, they are going to negotiate.
Negotiate
with the All Progressives Congress
and
negotiate with the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, directly or indirectly. They are going to do that. So even when they stay in the party, it will be for their own selfish reason. Let me win this re-election for those who are seeking to return to office.
Now, for those who are not seeking re-election?
For those who are not seeking re-election, it will be, let me produce my successor or live in peace.
Exactly.
Either of the two.
Okay.
You see, a lot of things happen and politicians also think that all Nigerians are naive or are incapable of reading body language. The way PDP is structured, it can't go anywhere near the presidential ticket. It can't.
All right,
the way it is now.
All right, now, the governors of the PDP, they've taken a position. But the position they've taken, do you think the voice of the governors of the PDP mean the entire voice of the PDP in this regard?
Well, if you look at it, it is even the state governors that really make up the real, when you talk about political party, as in when you are talking about the real nucleus, it's usually the governors, because they are more or less like the major decision makers. They have made Nigerian political scene have made the governors very important.
Okay.
Now to decide. So because the governors are the ones that are in charge of the local government. The local government people are the governors, the local government, who the governors are the ones that will provide the local government chairman, as well as even councillors, and those are the foot soldiers on election day. Because on election day, the governor will just sit down and then begin to look for Mr. A in one particular ward or one particular street or just like that.
The structure.
That is it. You understand? So if you look at it, they are very, very important. So once the governors say they are not involved in a particular venture, forget it, that venture is dead on arrival.
Okay, now when you say the PDP, they said they are not having no issue of merger talks. Looking at the crisis rocking the PDP at this time, do you think the PDP still has that political muscle to knock out the incumbent in 2027?
Standing alone.
Standing alone.
Without merger.
It's not possible. You see, sometimes we need to listen to some politicians, even when we feel that they are outdated or they have gone past their relevance. The former president of the Senate, who was also a former governor of Kwara State, Abubakar Bukola Saraki, he said something during the week, and that's quite germane. I'm seeing more than 5 governors on that platform who are already in PDP, who are already in APC. I can see them. They are still claiming to be members of this forum that issued this statement.
You say the governors from the west, the southwest,
Anywhere.
Okay, let's just leave it
we
at
can
that.
mention names. For now, we can just leave it at that. Like Azuko said, there is something about politics in this country, and that is money. The war chest.
Yes.
Can you tell me an individual, apart from maybe somebody like Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who has the capacity to fund just his own state for an election in this country without problem, except the governors? It's almost impossible. And that is why it is important to know that, see, when you are looking at who is speaking in Nigerian politics, you are also, apart from looking at where he's standing, you are also looking at his pockets. Who is going to unseat APC without having the war chest? It's almost impossible. Because that is the language of our politics. Money. And it's these governors who control the votes. If 5 or 6 of them are already out of the PDP, and they are ready to trade the presidential tickets for their own survival, then how are they going to win? Don't forget, if both elections, say the presidency and the governorship will hold the same day, it's a different ball game. The presidency comes first. So they'll sell that away, negotiate it for their own ambition, which comes 2 weeks after. That's for those who are seeking re-election. For those who are seeking survival after office, who know that they've done so much that it is for them to wait for anti-graft agencies or whether by hook or by crook, they'll have to sort themselves out somehow. And that is what is happening. That is why it is, for a lot of people in PDP, making sense now to look at where is the coalition that can bail me out. How can I survive in the next election Any wise incumbent now who is seeking re-election won't leave that party because it's a good tool for negotiation.
All right, Alulu from Argungu. Alulu, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Alulu, are you still with us? Okay. All right, because of the network. But just what I asked. They said they are not joining any merger.
Hello there. How are you, gentlemen?
Okay, Alulu, are you still with us? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes,
Can you hear
let's
me?
talk. Let's talk. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear
Hello.
you. Let's talk. Okay, we apologize.
The network
All right,
is
so
bad.
they said they are not merging. But do you think, even with the crisis, do you think the PDP still has that muscle?
So if you are talking about, despite the crisis, the PDP remains the biggest opposition party in Nigeria. Because if you look at it, they still have the structures.
Yeah.
There is no other opposition party that has the structures that PDP has in Nigeria. Even Labour, SDP, or any other one.
NMPP, none of them.
NMPP is just one state.
No states.
If they are
SDP
doing
doesn't
campaigns,
exist
you
anyway.
just see them going around. But do you know where their office is in Lagos? You understand? So we'll start from that. Because we are talking about, when we are talking about political parties, we are talking about parties that even the ordinary man on the streets will know. A child should be able to know that there is a party called NNPP or ABGA or whatever, or AA. It starts like that. A child. You understand? So if you don't have that level, it will be difficult for one to say that, okay, you have something that you put on the table. Because first, as when the PDP will be going and they say they want to do either coalition or whatever, they will be looking at, okay, Mr. Party A or B.
Okay.
What do you have? Bring it.
All right, Asuko, please hold that thought. We have Isa calling from Bochi. Isa, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you.
How are you folk?
Isa, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm with you, please.
Okay, let's talk.
Okay, so please, I just called to chip in and give my own side of the advice regarding what you are just saying. Actually, for me, what I'm seeing is I'm calling to our politicians, let them have sincerity of purpose. Actually, in this country, we are heading to a direction that does not have directionless. Look at how killings are disturbing people in Jos and other places, and they are busy looking for next election. We have not gone even if to the half of this duration of this present administration, and they are busy planning for the next election. Please, we are begging or calling on our politicians.
All right, thank you.
Let them have think about.
Thank you. Very, very key.
Yes, the thing is,
Very key.
that is the difference between we other Nigerians and then
And the
politician.
politicians.
Because the politician is always looking at the next election. And like every election cycle, or after the election, the next thing a politician is thinking of is another term. And that is after this, after 2 years, by the time it's December, I can bet you by the time it's December of this year, governance, most of them will begin to put governance aside and be thinking of how they will come back.
Have they not done it?
So the thing is, when you are asking a question about the coalition, so the PDP, that is why the governors are saying that they are not even talking about coalition now or merger.
They
And
said
if
they are
there
ready
is
to
any,
welcome.
they will only welcome. But
It
if you are
is an
coming,
insult for
It's
them to
not.
say the PDP to come join
no,
them.
that is
This is a
that
party
is what they are
that-
saying.
That is an insult.
Yes,
They should come
of
join
course,
the
it's
PDP.
the other
instead.
the other
They should
parties,
come
the other parties,
Okay.
are the ones who come
join the PDP.
and then when they are coming, they are not changing the name,
Okay, it's
You
still going to
understand?
retain.
which is PDP, because to them they feel that PDP has the muzzle, it has the name, has
Okay.
the structure, has everything. And don't forget, Totu said something. The PDP governors, there are 11 of them. They have the money to finance anybody that wants to come. So what we should even be looking at now is, which I feel the governors will also be looking amongst themselves, who is going to be the flag bearer. That is where another problem will come.
Now, let's talk about that part. Looking at what the caller said, looking at the individuals involved in the coalition, is it about the interest of Nigeria and the Nigerian people, or is it the interest of self and individual ambition ahead of 2027? But before that, we have Tony calling in. Tony, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you, my brother.
Yes, let's talk.
Well, good evening to you all. Over
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
there. Yeah, first of all, I would like to ask if politics or democracy is about lie telling. If politics or democracy is about lie telling. Me, as far as I know, democracy in the past, the time of the First Republic and Second Republic, and Awolowo and Zik and Co. These people are people of how will I call it, caliber of truth, representative of truth. You understand me? They don't talk with two mouths. Whatever they say, they stand by it. You understand me? And you media men, you have a duty to play. You understand me? The time of politicking, has it come? Has INEC rolled out timetable for 2027 elections? That it will encourage people talking about 2027 elections. Instead of us to be talking about dividend of democracy that the government has stopped Nigeria.
Now, I think it's for us to make the whole conversation straight. We're not talking about campaigns here, all right? We're just talking about issues.
What
they had
the
a
PDP
meeting,
governors
and I
have
think it's
said.
the right of the media to talk about it.
Yes.
Okay, but also talking about the meeting, they also announced the date for the convention. Now, by the constitution of the PDP, do you think they have the right to announce the national convention date? They are a caucus. Are they an organ of the party to announce such a date, even though they are very, very, important, pivotal?
That's the most important organ of the party. Who funds the party?
Oh,
That's
it's about who funds the party.
That is what you see.
But by party constitution,
we like the ideal. We like the ideal, but we also lack it. We like it, but we lack it. Because the governors own the party. That's where the challenge is. And that's why, like what the last caller said, what we should be talking about now is governance. But I told people about 4-6 months ago that the race for 2027 had started. And you can't run away from it. These are the people who are going to dictate how we run. They own the party. If they didn't own the party, the issue of who should be the national chairman and national secretary and all the rest shouldn't be there by now.
Exactly.
Because it is a very straightforward matter. But whoever they want, they must get. And that's where the challenge is. Where will the national chairman raise money? Who is the member of the party who is paying dues now? It's the governors who are bringing in money. Let me read something to you. What part of what Saraki said? I pray I get this very quickly. Saraki said in that statement, he said, with what is on ground, the possibility of me joining another party that is going for them
merger.
with them for the merger,
Coalition.
is completely out, emphasizing the lack of support from current governors to back that party the way it is. You can't have a party that is dominated by certain individuals and be asking questions. It's not for you. That party is not for you. It's not for me. It's for them. They decide where they want to go.
And they've decided.
They've decided. We are having this convention on so date. Tell me how the national chairman is going to do it. Some people will go to court. They will want to stop it.
So since
But
they
they will have their
decided,
way.
everybody will just have to align with
Everybody
them
will align.
because they are the ones who bring
They
in.
own the party.
Oh dear.
So anybody who disagrees, the usual thing we say to them in Nigeria is go to court. They will go to court. Before you know it, 2027 is here, they've had their way.
Of course.
Because that case is going to drag in the next 2-3 years. Look at the chairman who has been there for now.
The chairman was even there yesterday with them. Yes.
The governor.
And
the
he's,
acting
yes,
chairman,
and
yes,
he's
he
the
was
one
with
who is supposed to make that pronouncement through the national publicity secretary. That's his own job. Run the party, call the,
Exactly.
the meetings, and when they are through, but
All right.
it was the governor's forum, you had to go and attend their meeting.
All right then. Good one. All right. From there, let's take a trip to Rivers State. Now, as mixed feelings and reactions continue to trail the state of emergency in Rivers State, the situation is throwing up various issues in the South state. The suspended governor of the state, Siminalayi Fubara, appears to be displeased with the Nigerian police over handling of protests. Fubara slammed the police over alleged high-handedness and clamped down on peaceful demonstrators in some parts of the state. In two separate protests, some women groups took to the streets of Port Harcourt to support the emergency rule, while some protesters in Aoda East called for the reinstatement of Fubara. It was a fiasco that almost got out of control as the police battled to control the situation to avoid further breakdown of law and order. Now, with this script, they said there were two protests held in Rivers State. One in Port Harcourt, in the streets of Port Harcourt, in support of the state of emergency. The other part in Aoda, saying that condemning the state of emergency and calling for the reinstatement of the governor. What do you make, now that the governor is saying, what do you make of the governor's statement calling on, saying that the police is biased in this matter?
No, I think I'll look at it. First, let me say this to the people of Rivers. They are in a state of emergency.
Okay.
And it's more or less like martial law. Let me use that word. Okay. Even though we know we're in a democracy. So they should just respect the sole administrator for now, so that it will be able to bring the peace that is required in the state. Now, that is number one. Number two is that I would have preferred, in my own opinion, that the police become neutral in this matter.
I like that part.
Okay, because if the police is being seen to be partial, okay, if you are keeping one side peaceful and guiding them and allowing them to protect, not to protest, to rally peacefully, you should also allow another dissenting voice to also rally peacefully, rather than using tear gas on them. And these are women. Okay, so I think that is where the police they need to make sure that people should not see them as enemies, but they should see them as people who want to truly bring peace. Because everybody is now looking at Rivers. They are also looking at the sole administrator on how we will bring that peace back to Rivers. Because I, for one, I want to see a Fubara back in government.
Okay.
And the only way that can be made possible is when everything, when I mean everything, all the structures, everything, everybody, the stakeholders have already known that, okay, I think we didn't do well before.
Okay.
Right now, for us to bring back how Rivers was, everybody have to be brought to the table. And another set of people, that one of the stakeholders are the police. And so the police should not be seen by other people to be seen as being neutral or supporting one particular group or the other. So the police, in this instance, I think they got it wrong by firing tear gas on those women. They should have protected those women, guided them to wherever they are, and make sure they stayed in one particular spot. If they wanted them to stay in a spot, and tell them, okay, don't move. Okay? So using tear gas on them, I think it is wrong, and I condemn that totally.
Totally. Your thoughts on this, Paul?
Yeah, I go with him. When I saw a few clips on what happened in Rivers as per the peaceful protests, I was happy, and then I was shocked. Because one side
Yeah.
Had the rally in completely peacefully. And then the other side, you had tear gas being fired.
Was it because of the message? The first one,
Oh,
the way you support and the police
yes, it is the pro.
creating a level
And,
playing
you know,
ground for.
what we will expect in this situation is anybody who wants to protest should be allowed to.
Exactly.
Once it is peaceful. We now know that what the police want is that we want to protest. Please stay in one place where we can monitor things.
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with that. I didn't see these women being unruly. I don't know if you watched.
No, I did.
The
No,
clip.
I think for that of our order, where the police actually attack, I think we should have some sort of police report where did these women go against the law?
Did they even
Were
destroy
unruly?
government
Did they
property
destroy-
and all that?
I think the police have a. We should demand.
Yes, they
the police
owe
to
us.
actually give
Yes,
us that
because I
information.
was going to go there that they owe us an explanation
Exactly.
on why they did
Why
that.
they did that?
They owe us that explanation. This is a
absolutely.
state where people are trying to look for peace. And the bias will come in because it will seem like, okay, the police does not like the Fubara side.
Yeah, exactly.
So it wants to make the place
Ungovernable.
ungovernable and then create an impression that emergency rule should continue.
Okay,
Nobody
exactly.
wishes for that.
Yeah, we are waiting a response from the police.
Nobody
you know,
wishes for
concerning
that.
this matter. But we need to go on this quick break right now. And when we return, the conversation continues. Don't go anywhere. Still Journalist Hangout.
Oh, why do you need Dettol 12-hour protective shield?
Why? Come, let me show you. From my husband's germ-filled journey to work, to his daily interaction, touching where everyone has touched, and the sweaty journey back home. What else can give you all day long protection?
Germs are everywhere, but Dettol's 12-hour protective shield shields your family every day.
Keeping them safe, healthy, happy, and successful.
Dettol, be 100% sure.
The Nigerian Army wishes to inform the general public that the online registration for 89 regular recruit intake recruitment exercise for trades, non-tradesmen and women will commence on 31st March 2025 for all interested and qualified candidates. Applicants must be single and be Nigerian citizens by birth. Applicants must be medically, physically and psychologically fit in line with Nigerian Army standards. Applicants must not be less than 18 years and not more than 22 years old for non-tradesmen and women, while tradesmen and women must not be older than 26 years as at 30th June 2025. For more information on eligibility and requirements, please visit Nigerian Army Recruitment website recruitment.army.mil.ng to complete online registration from 31st March to 17th May 2025. Selected candidates will participate in the state recruitment screening exercise scheduled from 2nd to 16th June 2025 in their respective state of origin. Nigerian Army Recruitment is free. Brigadier General Chibueze Ogbuabo, Director, Directorate of Recruitment and Money, Army Headquarters, Announcer.
All right, if you just joined us, it's still Journalist Hangout. I still have Dr. Oladipo right here with us and Asuko James. All right, let's move straight to our next conversation. Now, wanton killings and destruction in Benue State have defied logic and lasting solutions. Hence, the security situation is a testy one. As such, the state governor Hyacinth Alia has warned politicians to seek proper clearance before visiting internally displaced persons IDP camps in the state. The caution was issued in a statement by the governor's chief press secretary, Kolas Teso, amid speculation that former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi is scheduled to visit IDP camps in the north-central state. According to the statement, Governor Alia is involved in high-profile meetings with key state actors to discuss critical issues affecting the state, hence the need for decorum. Governor Alia advised against any group or high-profile individual attempting to enter the state for any kind of visit that may generate political gathering without prior approval. Asuko, first of all, is there an underlying motive behind the actions of Governor Hyacinth Alia against Peter Obi. Is there something that could talk to me? I don't know. Talk to me.
Yeah, well, honestly, I don't know if there is any underlining political whatever around it. But I think the governor may just be looking at protecting him. I want to believe that
protecting Peter Obi in this regard?
Yes, in this regard, because if you look at it, not that Peter Obi doesn't go to Benue often, and just like Plateau. I know even during the elections, he was always frequent there. And I think he was also scheduled to go there. And he sent that message to the governor. From what I heard, the governor could not, return his calls. Okay. But he just made that, trip.
Yes.
Thinking that by the time he gets to a particular point, the governor will now say, okay, you can come in, But we don't know the information the governor could have gotten. Okay. And that is why I keep saying that the governors as well as the president usually get this, security intel.
Okay.
So if he had gotten that intel that, okay, that particular place that you want to go to is not safe, I think it is right for you to just respect him at that point and reschedule. There's nothing bad if you reschedule and say, okay, fine, I can't go on the 14th. Maybe I'll go on another day. I think where Peter Obi would have been angry was because maybe the governor did not return his calls, or give him, the reasons why he shouldn't go. Because from all the things we've read, he actually saw that information on the just like his normal statement, like every other person, rather than getting a call through to him to say, don't come in, So, and I also want to say that for now, I know people really want to, lend a helping hand, to these states, Plateau and Benue states. It will be better that they go through the governor, before they start moving. Maybe not the governor, perhaps it might be the emergency management agency. Like them they have by Basema or something, They can go through them. Because I know when the issue about mango started, in this organization, we also did some funds that we sent to them. But nobody knew about it.
But they want to help. Do
yes,
they
that
need
is what
the
I'm
governor's
saying.
Permission to render help?
That is what I'm saying. I'm just saying this.
Yes.
We did that. We didn't even need to call the governor because we just got the association. Can you just send your account? And then we did that. So he can do the same thing. He doesn't need to go there. He can also push whatever he wants to. And then any day that you feel that it is safe, and he can now pay that visit. Because right now, I feel that what is happening in those two states is something that everybody has to be concerned about.
Absolutely.
And so we do not want to, in quotes, politicize anything, because we don't know where the thing is coming from. If you notice, the tone of the president feels as if it's communal, it has ethnic undertone, it has religious undertone. So it is better that the president handles it in his own way, like either in a fatherly way, or he handles it based on the security information he's getting. So I think for now, those who want to pay, this visit, want to give humanitarian aid to people, should go through the right channel, rather than trying to force themselves into the governors and all that.
I mean, why do you think a governor would bar politicians from visiting IDP camps in their states? A politician who wants to help, they have to seek permission.
Well, I've always been a huge fan of the governor.
The Benue State governor?
Yeah. And the reason is this. I don't know him personally, but there was a reverend father before him who did well for that state.
At that judge?
Yes, he did very well for that state. So my thinking was that his coming will change a lot of things and set the state on a good path to recovery from be it economic or insecurity issues and all the rest. But this decision yesterday baffled me. How will, I'm not saying it's bigger than the governor, but how will somebody of Peter Obi's stature be looking for you through your ADC for 4 days and the ADC says he can't reach the governor? We should bring these things to the table.
So you think there could be some...
There is an underlying factor. And that underlying factor, like I said earlier, from one of the topics, is that the race for 2027 has begun. And I see this as
what has 2027 got to do?
Hold on, sir. Shut out this man who has been using this opportunity of this visit to become more popular or ingrained with the people. That, for me, is my reading. Because what he wanted to do, according to that schedule, was visit the IDP camp and visit some schools that are even Catholic schools. And that's where the root of both men are. That is the root of them. That's where the root is, Catholic, both of them. So I agree with Azuko. Yes, this money can be sent. For instance, the ones going to the school, Peter Obi can stay somewhere and send it. The one going to ID can. But we know that even for the governor when he was campaigning, those were opportunities for them to grant themselves with the people. So when people begin to read, when I saw that statement yesterday, my mind started thinking, who was going to visit? Who was going to visit? I hope it's not the SGF, because you know they are also not in alignment. Because that's going to be a big issue. That was my thought. I hope it's not the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume. That was my thought. I don't let there be crisis in this state.
No, but I want to believe that they want to put aside their rivalry.
No, that won't. You know, it won't end. It won't end. It won't end.
You know, but put that aside and let
it won't end. The battle that they started won't end until one of them loses out. One must lose out.
That is it.
That is it with politicians. So when I now started getting this feeler that it's Peter Obi, I said, oh, well, I hope we are not setting a precedent that we will not, now, that we won't be able to contain and curtail when elections come. Remember?
Okay. Just hold that thought.
Yes,
hold that thought. Godwin calling from Yola. Godwin, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Yeah, good evening, guys.
Yeah, good evening to you.
I want to start by saying kudos to you guys for so dispassionately talking about these issues at a time it's very difficult to be a journalist. Yeah. And talking about what's happening in Benue State, I'm completely surprised and that's what we're putting politicking ahead of the welfare of the masses. For a state that has undergone a lot of backwardness under the former regime and with all the attacks, if a person like Peter will be coming in, no matter how minute, no matter how politics you are thinking, brings in the change. And I want to know, I'm praying that our electorate grows to the point where we can look at people that are governing and see how they're governing and talk about re-election when the time comes. For the governors, the PDP governors you're talking about, and from a sincere standpoint, as a citizen of Adama, I've seen a lot of work with Fintre and all. But what I'm simply saying is that the masses should come to a point where the reason why you re-elect somebody is because he has worked. There's so much focus on politicking when people are going through a lot. And hopefully we'll get to that point. So kudos to you guys and continue to strike that balance.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, is this becoming a trend?
I was going to say, you know that there was something that happened in Bayelsa of recent, where the governor stopped the rally from holding.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this becoming a trend?
It is going to be.
That if I don't like you don't come into my state.
And they gave themselves out today. Look at the statement that was issued by the SA to the governor, saying Peter Obi cannot ambush Benue State with charity. That's
so it means
they knew why it was
intentional.
They knew why it was coming.
Now, where do we draw the line? Acting as chief security officer,
there is nothing,
and
there is nothing about
politics
about security.
Where do we draw the line here?
There is nothing about security in this. The last caller just said it. We need to get to a point where people can realize that we can't do politicking all year round. There must be period for governance. There must be period for governance. What stops you as a governor from receiving a Peter Obi and telling him, APC is your home? You too, preach to him.
Oh, preach to him.
Preach to him, convert him. APC is your home.
All right, now let's also look at IDP camps, whereby some politicians might want to target it for, to score political points or electoral points or something. How do you think such vulnerable places like IDP camps, can be safeguarded without isolating them from getting the much needed support and not being used to just score political points?
See, if I am the Benue State governor, Peter Obi comes with 50 million to these IDPs, I will make it 100 million.
Simple.
Simple. That is the
You've
way.
countered the...
Counting. Not that you stop these people from getting... Look at the school he would have visited now. Perhaps he would have dropped some 50 million there. He has helped you as a governor in part of your own governance. Imagine him getting about 10, 15 politicians coming to drop 150 million for those people. You are just going to make sure that you utilize it to your own advantage.
In other words, you think the governor of Benue State dropped the ball in this regard?
He did. Completely.
No, the thing
completely,
is,
sir.
The thing is, when it comes to, because I just like the caller said, we shouldn't politicize things like this. When people are going through pain, any help at all is what they need. So if a Peter Obi says, oh, I want to go to Benue to go and help, as a governor, try and get that security, in place for him. Let him go there. Let him do whatever he wants to do. The worst he will say is the government are not doing enough. But you're the governor. You go there, you do your own. You do it times 2 or times 3.
Do a counter narrative.
Exactly. At the end of the day, the people would all now say, okay, fine. They won't even remember that he came. The next thing, they will remember the governor, because that is the person that is closer to them. You understand? So,
all right, we have
politicians should find a way to, I keep saying, de-emphasize using problems, to try and gain popularity.
All right, we have Dixon from Makurdi. Dixon, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening,
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Let's talk.
My name is Dixon from Makurdi.
Let's talk.
Thank you.
Dixon, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I want to appreciate all of you. Though I would have loved to listen to my Mina. Okay. I would have loved to listen to my main man, Jide is not here, but I want to say that today, whatever the decision of the governor, we have to some extent, respect the decision of the governor. And that is because Peter Obi is on one side, the governor is on another side. Today, just as you people, most of the two speakers have spoken about the politics in Nigeria. They have just spent 2 years, and they have 2 years still to go, and already we are talking about.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for that one. All right. All right. In rounding off this conversation, your parting thoughts on this matter?
No, I think the Benue State governor should, because I heard the way he sounded was as if nobody should come, no high-profile person should come. It means that even investors will not come to your state. That's what it means.
And
so
they saying the place is open to
I want to believe that that's not what it meant. I want to believe. I want to play the devil's advocate.
No.
I want to believe that's not what it meant.
That's the way the statement sounded. That is how the papers carried it. So it has to soften the ground for investors to come. Benue is the food basket of the nation.
Absolutely.
You understand? So it has to soften its tone, allow people to come in.
Okay.
If they want to go to IDP camp, fine. If they want to go to Makurdi, let people come in. Give them security for crying out loud.
All right,
the chief security officer of the state.
All right, gentlemen. Let's move straight to our fourth And final conversation. The killings in some parts of Nigeria require desperate measures and firm actions. As such, President Bola Tinubu has called on Governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mutfwang, to address the age-long communal issues connected to the killings in the state, while attributing the ongoing violent attacks in the state to misunderstanding between different ethnic and religious groups. The president reaffirmed the commitment of the federal government to partner with Governor Mutfwang to promote social cohesion needed to resolve the crisis in the state. He said he has instructed security agencies to thoroughly investigate the crisis and identify those responsible for orchestrating the violent acts. Okay, Dotson, the president, acting as the commander-in-chief, giving marching orders to the Plateau State governor to address the cause of the carnage. But talk to me. Do you agree with the president?
I disagree with him.
Talk to me. Why do you disagree?
Every machinery that can achieve peace by reining in those who are involved, is with the federal government. All of it. All the powers.
But the governor is the chief security officer of this. On paper.
Designation without power. It's a designation that does not have power. It can't even control the NSCDC. It cannot. It cannot even control the police. And it's this way. The problem has been identified.
Okay.
Not today. The people have been called to speak to themselves. Governors before Mutfwang have made moves to ensure that the people live in peace. But a few things are wrong. One, some actors they are better armed than even the Nigeria police. Where does the governor get the wherewithal to rein them in? It's with the federal government. If you are talking about separating them physically, that is delineation or whatever you want to do, is the National Boundary Commission
that will do that.
That will do that.
And it falls under the
federal government. So, in order for the president not to be seen as being political, or his statement as political, he must be the one to now step in.
Okay, the president should be the one to step in.
Yes, he should be the one to step in. The terrain is difficult. We've been reporting Plateau. So it is not as if the army, even the involvement of other military ends, like the Navy and Air Force, it's not as if they are not involved in this, their Operation Safe Haven.
Safe Haven.
They are there. But when these guys strike here today, they can strike 42 kilometers away, and that 42 kilometers away should take you about 20-25 minutes to get there. You cannot get there in 4 hours because of the terrain. And we've said it here, how many personnel do these people have in all to be able to spread around even one state? How many? So let the president do us that favor. Take hold of that place. If we do it and we leave, just like we have done in Benue, those guys are going to come back.
Your thoughts on this, Martin?
No, I think Dotun is right. The president, the statement wasn't too fatherly-like. Let me use that word. because I had expected that the president would put his foot down, and see how the federal might, must be imposed on, on Plateau immediately. Because what the statement was looking like is, hey, Mr. Mutfwang, it's your problem.
Go and solve it.
Go and solve it. It was looking that way, and at the end of the day, you just make the governor look helpless. Because the governor keeps saying that this looks like a genocide by terrorists. And who can better handle terrorists if not the federal government? You understand? So that is where the president has to, I think he has to just cut short his trip or something, because the number of lives being lost is just too much.
Now they call it communal clash.
Yeah,
that
no matter how.
Do you think the media handlers
let me tell you,
are not showing the president the true state of things there?
Let me tell you the true state. The last one that happened, maybe you don't know. The last one that happened, we just saw children killed. You saw women being killed, and even the governor was saying there are some bodies they can't even find. So it means they have taken some bodies out from the place. So the president must find a way to rein in, either send the CDS there, because I know the last time the National Security Advisor was there and he left. And like I said, the day one of the officials or the deputy governor was going there, these same guys were raining bullets on the man and the man turned back.
Because he doesn't have the wherewithal.
Yes. So it shows that these guys are not even ready for peace. So the best thing is, if anybody is not ready for peace, then it means he's ready for war. And who can declare war? It's the president.
It's the president, the commander-in-chief.
So
that's the point.
The president has to find a way to, solve the problem. Plateau has been peaceful for a year, if not more. They celebrated their last Christmas and they were happy, rejoicing. Only for this to happen again.
Now, let's look at the order of the president. He has told the governor of the state, go and sort it out, the root cause of this carnage. What should the governor be doing right now?
The governor should be talking to the people.
Talking to the people?
Yes. Since you have identified who these people are, come, let your leaders come to a table to talk. But like I said, these talks in the past achieved nothing. Let him try again. If he doesn't achieve it, then it means there is that carrot approach will not work. Then bring the stick
to
and wield it, because that's what we need.
Exactly.
We started losing out on this matter over 10 years now, when these things started like play, to use the Nigerian language. Like play, it takes start. Plateau has been cut off completely in terms of food.
Yes.
Benue is almost cut off now.
Exactly.
Once we lose Benue completely without being able to produce anything, food, we're going to get deeper into trouble.
Exactly.
How much of Irish potato do you see on the streets of Lagos again? Because the farmers are running away. They're no longer, and that's the axis where it comes from.
Okay. Now, what should the Nigerian state be doing going forward to avoid a repeat of this tragedy?
You see, we've gotten to a point where civilians have more arms than our own military and other security agencies. We should be able to mop up. The NSA is doing well now in terms of encouraging people to submit their arms, the small arms, whatever in his office is doing well. But we need to do more, because these guys, as they are mopping up, more is coming into the system. Because without all of these arms and ammunition, we won't be where we are. If somebody is using ordinary cutlass to fight, it will be a different ballgame from somebody who has sophisticated weapons. And that's what these guys are doing. That's why I said it has gone beyond the governor. So the state should go step in. And that's the federal might we are talking about now.
All right.
If it's a land they are fighting over, check Ebonyi. Ebonyi took over a parcel of land and said nobody should go and farm there again. Nobody should do anything on that land. Anybody who is caught is gone.
Okay.
And that we should be looking at that for Plateau. If it's about a piece of land, if it's about a community, take all of them out. Acquire it.
All right, then. I think it's a fine place for us to leave it. Dr. Oladipo, thank you so much for your brilliant submission as always. Thank you so much. Asuko James,
thank you for having
Thank you so much for doing this with us. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. Yes, you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. Join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Tired of spending endless hours in the kitchen? Struggling with bulky appliances? Cooking should be a delight, not a chore. Tired of messy cleanups from kitchen tools that never seem to perform as expected? Do you wish there was a single solution to handle all your blending, chopping, and grinding needs? Introducing the Cook X 4-in-1 Blender, the ultimate kitchen tool to revolutionize your cooking. It's a 50 Naira. That's a saving of over 100,000 Naira. And remember, you won't just be getting the blender. There is more. Order now and you receive a premium knife set valued at 30,000 Naira. Absolutely free. We'll also deliver the Cook X 4-in-1 blender to your door for free. But hurry! This flash sale is for a limited time only. Stock is running out fast, so don't miss this opportunity to upgrade your kitchen at an unbeatable price. Call now while stocks last.
Proceeding is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
I'm Nifebi Oguntoye, news anchor with TVC News. My day is usually busy and it's difficult keeping up with breaking news stories, trending stories, business news, stock exchange and what have you. But with TVC News on WhatsApp, I'm able to catch up with all the breaking news, real-time updates and trending stories on the go, right on my phone, no matter where I am. It's quick, easy and always on. And here you can join us by scanning the QR code or using the link on our X and Instagram. Why wait? Come to the side of news that keeps you ahead. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real